with NBA free agency beginning at 3 p.m. West Coast time. What will happen with Draymond Green? It definitely feels like he's going to be a Golden State Warrior, and we've blown nothing but hot air over the last 6 weeks on this station talking about Draymond Green possibly playing in another uniform. But does Draymond even have a market? Are the Warriors bidding against themselves? And how happy will you be if Draymond Green does re-sign with the Golden State Warriors? Because one thought I had, Spadoni, watching him, Klay, and Curry, half of it is like, all right, the business of basketball and the way things ended last season, would I mind to change the scenery? Would I mind Draymond Green playing somewhere else? I wouldn't. But on the flip side, I thought, boy, how cool is it that 3 guys who basically have been together for this over a decade, have won 4 championships, they possibly get to go out together. You don't really see that in sports. No. And they get to go out on their own terms and basically write the final chapter of their careers. And what that final chapter look like? Another championship, playoff disappointments, injuries. How will it all end? So part of me is like, you know what? It's kind of cool that they're going to end things. Well, Klay has 1 year left on his deal, so you never know what happens. But at least for one more year, they get to try to run it back. And part of me is like, you know what? I could accept that.
Well, is there any trio that's ever been with one franchise like that? I think of duos, right? I think of James Worthy and Magic for the Lakers, but outside of that, it feels like in today's age, and we're seeing it with James Harden, seeing it with Kyrie, we're seeing it with Kevin Durant, like the journeyman era, quote unquote, for a star is here. So it's a rare thing. And I think a lot of Warriors fans would actually be pretty damn disappointed to see Draymond go. At the end of the day, after you traded Jordan Poole, you need to re-sign Draymond Green. It would be a disaster if the Warriors do not re-sign Draymond Green. Having said that, what's his market? We'll have Dwight Jaynes on out of Portland. He's going to discuss that. There was some rumors. I don't know if they were debunked or not. He was having a meeting with Dame Lillard. Would Dame want to have that? What's going on with Dame? He feels like he's one of the big dominoes to potentially fall in free agency. They got Scoot Henderson and James Harden, as we just mentioned. That was another big domino, opting in, and he's working with the Sixers to facilitate a trade. Harden in a Warriors uniform?
Well, no. This is where I'm going with it.
Oh boy,
Harden, obviously, and what a joker he is. What a joker. I mean, who would want James Harden at this point? Whatever. He had 21, 10,
he actually had a
6
decent
last
year.
year.
I was actually surprised how good he was last year in the regular season.
He won 2 games in the Boston series, which is good for him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't show up in Game 7, but nobody showed up in Game 7.
No, Game 6 was the one they needed.
Game 6 was the one and they blew that one. Maybe it's a 3-team deal. Maybe it's a 3-team deal with the Clippers, Blazers, and Sixers. And Damian Lillard goes over to Philadelphia to pair up with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Harden goes to the Clippers. And who knows who goes to Portland?
Tobias Harris,
maybe to Portland and a bunch of picks or whatnot.
That's interesting.
I could see a 3-team deal with Dame Dollar going to Philadelphia to play with Joel Embiid. That would be a devastating pick and roll. Joel Embiid and Damian Lillard with Tyrese Maxey. That would look good because we know Dame Lillard has heart. And Dame Lillard, even though he's had some playoff failures, you know what? I could see something like that coming to fruition there, a 3-team deal, because Harden is looking for a trade partner.
Aren't you tired of the Dame Lillard stuff, too? Like, I feel like I'm pretty, like, and he's not even here locally. I mean, he's a local guy. Shout out Oakland, California. We love Dame here, but it's like, it's turned into an Aaron Rodgers things almost, where it's just like, dude, are you just moving on or not? Like, you're not winning a championship there. At the end of the day, I know you want to. Like, and all due respect to Scoot Henderson, maybe he will be that dude moving forward, but you ain't winning one in the next 2 years. Not with the Nuggets the way they are. And as far as James Harden to the Clippers,
I mean, come on. Are you taking that seriously? John
told me, Big John in the back, doing a great job. Shout out PG High, but my God, it's team load management at that point.
Yeah,
right?
no,
like, I don't. And Howard Beck was on GQ yesterday, a national writer, and he was just like, if the Clippers stay healthy, they're never going to
be healthy.
It's just not happening.
And there's 3 guys who need the ball in their hands.
Yes.
Kawhi needs the ball in his hands. James Harden needs the ball. You ever tried to watch James Harden play off the ball?
Oh, it's horrible. He just stands there.
He just stands there.
He's checked out.
He doesn't have the explosion that he used to have anymore. He plays from the top of the key. Now, he still has a nice little handle. He can still get to the free throw line at time. But once the NBA came in with that rule saying, we're not going to reward you for flopping, James Harden games changed a bit. So nobody fears the Clippers as James. They're still the 5th best team in the West.
Yeah. Which is crazy because I was telling Lucas Alexander yesterday, we're like, isn't it wild just a year ago, or was it 2 years ago now? Whatever it is, 2 seasons. But when they signed John Wall, everyone's like, oh my God, they got John Wall, who no one wanted, by the way. No one wanted John Wall for $40 million, whatever he was making with Houston. All-time finesse moves, by the way. John Wall making that much money. Yes. Pretty crazy. but it was just like, oh, they're co-favorites with the defending champion Golden State Warriors to win the whole damn thing. John Wall, and you know how I feel about the Clippers. I think it was a tremendous mistake for Kawhi Leonard to spurn the Lakers.
Right.
Maybe my Laker fandom's showing there a bit, but his whole career arc could have changed had he joined the Lakers instead of the Clippers. I get it. Maybe he don't want to be under LeBron James, but that has been one of the more big three or big two failures in the last decade. If we're going KD and the Nets, then we got to start crushing Paul George and Kawhi over in Clipperland.
No doubt. And it ended in that Western Conference semifinal against the Utah Jazz where Kawhi Leonard tears his ACL. It looked like they were on their way. Heck, you could even say during the pandemic season, they were playing like the best team in the league. They were rolling.
They had double-digit leads on the Nuggets in every one of those games, and they blew every one of them.
Blew every one of them in a bubble. So in that time off, it just felt like they never had that cohesion again once they went down to Orlando. By the way, Michael Scotto, NBA writer and podcast host for Hoops Hype, excuse me.
Sure.
He's saying that Dante DiVincenzo won't return to the Golden State Warriors. He's earned a pay raise. He made double what he could have gotten from the Golden State Warriors. The Knicks are one of a handful of teams when it comes to Dante DiVincenzo. Well, we kind of knew Dante DiVincenzo, was going to opt out.
Yeah.
Why? Because you look at the Warriors situation. Even before Chris Paul, Gary Payton II came into the equation and ate into his minutes. Andrew Wiggins came back and basically ate into his minutes. Dante DiVincenzo really didn't have a stable role here with the Golden State Warriors. Even though he played well last season with the Warriors, I thought he was a really good 3-and-D guy, had one of his best seasons, if not his best season in the NBA, because part of it is he can't stay healthy. You knew he was going to opt out. That was kind of a foregone conclusion after that Lakers series.
And it's pretty disappointing because it felt like DiVincenzo was really starting to find himself late in that year. And then once, Gary Payton came and then Wiggins came back, it just felt like, man, everything was just thrown out of whack. The cohesion that was starting to get there just was gone. And that quote-unquote dark cloud that was lingering over the organization with the JP stuff, it just never felt like the team got to be a full-on team towards the end of the year.
Yep.
And DiVincenzo, hey, shout out to him. At Game 6 in the Western Conference semis, he showed up. Like, he showed up. Not a lot of people offensively showed up in that game. Dante did, so I'll always have some respect for Dante DiVincenzo. And he's a Paisan. Come on, Bonta.
Yeah, he's a Paisan.
Love the Paisans.
He's a baller. I like Dante DiVincenzo. Best of luck to him in his future endeavors. Look, man, 888-957-9570. It feels like Draymond Green is going to re-sign with the Golden State Warriors. Now, the 408 is saying on the Comcast Business text line, you guys are getting feelings because you got to see dudes play around the golf on TV. Joe Lacob doesn't care about that. He's a tough business person. Well, what are you going to tell Stephen Curry after having that much fun? Hey, Steph, we're just going to let Draymond walk for nothing? For nothing? Now, if you do move off of Draymond Green, ideally, would he agree to a sign and trade? Maybe that's a possibility. But letting Draymond Green just walk, as you just mentioned earlier, and Shasky and I have gone back and forth about this, Joe Lacob doesn't want to take a step back.
No.
Not with Steph Curry still in his prime playing like a top 5 player. That would be organizational suicide to me by letting him just walk and saying, you know what, let's take a short-term step back and really battle in the Western Conference without, let's face it, one of their defensive aces.
Well, yeah, and then you just got a guy in Chris Paul who's, let's face it, at this age of his career and his size, like he's not a defensive stalwart. No. So like you're looking at who? Kevon Looney and Andrew Wiggins being your two best defenders. Like Klay Thompson, he's not that guy anymore. He's not the two-way defender. He's okay. Like he's still like probably above average at times, but he's not that dude to lock down the Dames, the Kawhis. He used to be a legit number one stopper for other teams, but now he's not that guy anymore. And you lose Draymond Green, to your point, you're basically punting on next season and hoping that you can get another big star in here. And I don't think they're in a position where you can just punt Stephen Curry years.
Right.
And let's face it, this is the first time in the Steve Kerr era with the Warriors they feel vulnerable. Yeah. Like, and you can say, well, Spadoni, they lost Klay, and they had that stretch there where they weren't making the playoffs. Yeah, but you had in the back of your mind when Klay comes back, you might be able to be something again. And then they won the title.
Right.
And then this is the first year with that core three with Kerr. They didn't make it to the finals.
First time they lost in the Western Conference.
First time. Like you got to start feeling that if you're a Warrior fan. And Steph, he didn't look good in that Lakers series. Klay did not look good. Right. Draymond did not look good. So there's a humbling aspect to being like, you know what? We're looking up for the first time to the Denver Nuggets and hell, maybe the Lakers, but everyone's looking up to this team, and it's an uncomfortable position to be in.
The thought process is the chemistry becomes better now.
Yes.
And I don't want to put that all on Jordan Poole because that's not all on Jordan Poole. Chemistry was wrecked last year. We all watched that team. They had 2 5-game winning streaks. That was about it. Other than that, it was win 2, lose 1, win 3, lose 2, lose 3, win 2. It was just a very inconsistent season, and the cohesion on that basketball team, you just knew it wasn't there. It was a lot of individual play. People just started playing like they wanted to get theirs, whether it's Klay, Jordan Poole, Kuminga, Draymond, everybody. It was a wreck. It was a train wreck. And then you have the injuries. And then you have Andrew Wiggins missing 47 games. Yet, I still find it remarkable that they won 44 and made the second round to play the Lakers. Like, they had no cohesion. So the thought process is, okay, you get rid of Jordan Poole, you bring in Chris Paul, which is, it's going to be fascinating and stuff. I wish we had a hard knock version of the NBA, the association or something like that. You just follow around the Warriors.
Chris Paul is not feeling this. Like, you could just read between the lines, and he's like, he'll slowly accept it, I'm sure. But it's a weird adjustment. Like Steph, and him go back. So maybe there's some love, like as a rivalry love there. But the rest of the guys are like, hell, we heard from Draymond Green. I don't like him at all.
Right.
That doesn't change. I'm sorry.
No, that doesn't change. And then I've been adamant about him coming off the bench, and he's going to come off the bench. And the more people I talk to around the Warriors organization, hell, he may start.
Oh, boy.
He really may start.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, so I don't even want to get the lineup yet because we're not even in October, but that's a possibility where he may start. You heard Mark Spears say, yeah, it would be awkward if he came off the bench. Well, ideally, you think that's the best position for him. Now, you could be in the closing lineups or whatnot, but Looney doesn't deserve to come off the bench. Looney's earned a starting role.
He has.
Andrew Wiggins doesn't deserve to come off the bench. If you bench him, all of a sudden you lose your best 3-and-D guy on the roster. So that's going to be interesting in itself.